This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight now, we bring you a discussion on India's huge jump in Global Innovation Index and rise as innovation hub. The participants are Jiten Kumar Jain, cyber expert, and Sanjay, journalist.
India has climbed 6 notches to the 40th position in Global Innovation Index 2022, and now it is just behind the developed countries like Switzerland, the United States, Sweden, United Kingdom, and the Netherlands, which are the most innovative economies according to the latest IPO's 2022 Global Innovation Index. And now China is also on the threshold of the top 10. How big this achievement do you see for a country like India?
Of course, it is a grand achievement, especially for a country which has been long for almost 2-3 decades known as a software superpower of the world. But we long realized that most of this software outsourcing economy was basically producing the best things which was designed and architected and conceived by others in the West. Now, from last 6 to 7 years, Government of India under Digital India program is putting a renewed focus to ensure that industry, academia collaborates with the government and the innovation happens in India, stays in India and is sold to the world. So in that spirit, government has ensured an ecosystem where it is easy to create startups, it is easy to innovate, and it is easy to file patents. And in that entire ecosystem, the results have now started coming in, and we have already seen global jump in the Global Innovation Index. India has jumped from almost 80 to 82nd rank to today 40th rank within 7 years. So almost doubling down on the efforts. We have seen patent filings in India have almost grown 46%, which is a testimony to the growing innovation here in India back home.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Modi has congratulated Indian innovators and expressed pride as India climbs to this 40th position in the Global Innovation Index of World Intellectual Property Organization. Prime Minister called it, "Innovation is the buzzword across India. Proud of our innovators. We have come a long way and we want to scale ever new heights." So for the innovators, what does it mean? How do you see this kind of moral boast or in terms of government's focus after this achievement?
One has to explain in generic terms. Look at what is happening in the last 7 years. Government is trying to ensure that this under Startup India and Digital India programs, the fruits and benefits of this entire mission is not only reaped by the middle class or the startup economy. Government is trying to ensure that there is an equalitarian distribution of dividends of this Startup India program, where the innovation is also not only for corporates, but it is also for the people who are standing on the last leg of society. Farmers, agricultural economy. So in that context, you look at Jan Dhan accounts. Now, opening an account is one thing, but opening an account and linking it to Aadhaar, ensuring that you are able to give subsidies without any leakage or corruption, ensuring that during pandemic you are able to feed millions and millions of people, almost 80 million people every day by giving direct transfer subsidy of 5,000 rupees in their accounts in a fraction of 48 hours to 72 hours. Then linking them to Aadhaar, giving them a national identity of their own. And then you have this one of the fastest growing smartphone population in the world, where I think today mobile internet is one of the cheapest and most affordable ones across the world. You compare it to US, you compare it to Middle East. India has the cheapest broadband and the internet on mobile phones. Now, which has resulted into, in a way, a great economy where telemedicine is booming, where education has become a key driver, especially in the rural areas, because now there is an access to content of IITs and the world-class institutions sitting right back home in a village in Rajasthan or Haryana. So now, because you are able to deliver quality education using technology and bring down the cost in the edtech sector and all, the education is the fundamental driver of any innovation. And once the innovation starts happening, government is trying to build an ecosystem where the seed capital is available, if not from the private sector or VC capital, is by Startup India Fund. Government is trying to ensure that the patent filing is not a complicated process, but a smooth and facilitated, hand-holded one without any cost. Government is trying to ensure that if you have to create a company, it is done within 3-4 days without going anywhere. Government is trying to ensure that once you form a company, file a patent, you are given a preference in any government purchase for Made in India products. Once that happens, government is also trying to ensure that if you have innovated something extremely for the public service and public good, you are given a tax holiday for 7 years. Government is trying to ensure that your products taken across the globe by different exhibition programs like Expo 2020 in UAE and all, where government is trying to take Indian startups across the globe. Now then awarding our scientists, pilots. Look at the events. Prime Minister going to ISRO almost twice a year. Not because the grand achievements of ISRO, it is also because he's trying to stand by even in failures, trying to give a boost to our scientists that government will stand by not only in success but also in failures. Look at the decision of Indian government to vaccinate the majority of our population by a homemade medicine, homegrown medicine, Indian medicine, Covaxin. And that decision is led from the front by Prime Minister himself getting vaccinated from a homemade medicine instead of a global medicine. So the risk is not only for the last leg of population, he is equally standing by the scientists and willing to accept the risk. So because of this support from the government, the innovation sector is now booming and the people are not leaving India. There is an attempt to stop the IP flow or brain drain, and the results are also there. Today we are the fastest, I think the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, fastest growing ecosystem. We are today a home of 100 unicorns. Can you imagine 100 unicorns? It's a huge number, and it's a collective effort of 150 crore people of India that we are changing our destiny on an innovation path.
Yeah, Mr. Jain, you spoke about the different aspects of it and why we have been able to achieve it. But what is remarkable in this achievement is that India's innovation performance is above average for the upper middle income group in almost every innovation pillar, with the exception of infrastructure, where it scores below average. So the Prime Minister's initiative of Digital India, Innovation Anusandhan, all these things is actually kind of bringing this achievement. And Prime Minister has today said that the country is ready to scale further in terms of innovation. Why do you think we have been able to achieve? Because the parameters for computing this index, which is like institutions, human capital and research, infrastructure, market sophistication, business sophistication, knowledge and technology outputs, and create outputs. So except the infrastructure, India has remarkably done very well in all the parameters. How do you see this?
I think yes. You look today, we have world-class incubators almost in every city of India. And let us not talk about one cities like, say, Delhi or Bombay. Let's take example of other cities, say Hyderabad. The T-Hub incubator is today one of the best in the world, one of the biggest in the world, one of the most advanced in the world. And the philosophy behind is that, look, when we got independence, there was for, I think, almost first 2-3 decades, we had this slogan of Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. And then came a time when Sashidri in, mid 70s, 80s, we realized that probably we are in the midst of an industrial revolution. And we said, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, because we realized that science will now be the new driver of our economy. And we will transform a agriculture-based country to an industrial economy. And it continued for almost 30-40 years. Today, Prime Minister realizes that probably we might have missed first 3 industrial revolutions, maybe because we were not independent, maybe because we were not ready immediately after independence, country did not have enough resources. But today he has realized that we are standing on the dawn of a 4th revolution, a new digital age, and we have to ensure that we don't miss that bus. And the only way you can be the leader of the digital revolution is by innovating at home and leading the world. And that is why now Prime Minister is saying, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. The research and innovation has to be celebrated. Our scientists have to be celebrated. And I think just a couple of days back, government have decided that all the scientific awards which were given by different ministries, will now be, accumulated into one single award, which will be a very prestigious award given to the research and innovators of this country across different verticals. So I think it's an honest attempt to begin a journey of $1 trillion digital economy. And it is not only happening at a level where a person is ready to innovate. They are trying to inspire young minds in a quest of knowledge, for the quest of research, for the quest of finding the unknown. So under the new education policy, I think in last, you could say 4 years, we have set up almost around, I would say, 9,000 Atal Innovation Labs across the schools. Now, this is again new equalizer for research and innovation. Now, these labs have not only come up in this big prestigious or a school for rich kids. They are coming up in every government school, everywhere, so that at least the basic facilities of research innovation is available equally to everyone in every district, every village of our society in the country. So I think these are fundamental reforms which would, in a way, drive the entire ecosystem right from when a kid is in the school, where you inspire him to research and innovate, then handholding him when he's doing his higher education by giving him quality education, and even if he's staying in a rural district. And once he's ready to innovate, then handholding him, filing patents, creating an ecosystem, bringing his own companies under Startup India program. And then once it happens, you are trying to ensure there is an ecosystem in India where a talent does not go out. He stays in India and innovate and celebrate across the world.
One of the kind of remarkable thing about this edition, 2022 edition of the Global Innovation Index, is that it has tracked the most recent global innovation trends against the backdrop of an ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, which has slowed down productivity growth and other evolving challenges. Despite that, India has really jumped it. So you think that this will improve our innovation ecosystem and we can use this index as a reference in economic plans or the policy in the coming time?
Obviously, it will inspire confidence in our scientists, in our entrepreneurs, in our innovators. But I think rankings and scale and these jumpings are one thing. But the fundamental reforms which are happening in this country, I can surely say our journey has just begun. Our best is yet to come. So wait for another 4-5 years where the actual benefits of these fundamental reforms across different sectors will come up. And then you will find that the way we were the global leaders in the finding the COVID medicine, Covaxin, you will find in every sector India's innovation will happen. Look at today we have our own craft carrier, we have our own vaccine, we are trying to build our own submarines, we have a very competent space economy, a space industry. Soon you will find that even in the software industry, we will turn from an outsourcing economy where our people are becoming leaders of the global corporates. We will soon be a hub of global companies which are led and funded by Indians and driven by Indians.
Yeah, absolutely. Prime Minister has been focusing on the entire government's policies how to make entrepreneur and provide ecosystem whereby people can start giving jobs. So let's say the way we have the reforms have been initiated by this government and, a slew of measures which are facilitating these reforms. Where do you see in the coming years, say in another 2-3 years time, could we be in the top 10 in terms of innovation hub in the world?
Today, I think Minister also mentioned that ancient scientific knowledge of our Vedas and traditional medicine, which has been a testament to India's innovative spirit. So they will setting up research centers and they will be further working to strengthen the research and development across different centers. Prime Minister is trying to make a clarion call to make innovation our national mission. That's the fundamental objective. And we have to ensure that in the next 5 years, India is not a home only to 100 unicorns, maybe to 500 global unicorns. And the revolution has to spread across India, where half of the unicorns which are already from small towns, they have to further go into rural districts.
Yeah, with the technology and digital infrastructure penetrating down to the rural and semi-rural areas, and we have seen how it works during the COVID pandemic. Naturally, this will help us in terms of achieving our growth, and that will also boost the economy. Our GDP is going to obviously increase with these innovations. People's life will become better. What are the other aspects we see which is going to help with this innovation index performance?
3 things. I think India, for long, at the size of our population, infrastructure has been a problem. So road infrastructure is improving. The startup infrastructure and ecosystem in the capital cities of different states have already been there, and it is likely at a competent space if you compare it across the world. So another thing what we have to ensure that we have startup ecosystems available in every district of the state. I think we are already laying optic fiber connectivity to every village. So once you have a world-class connectivity to internet and you have a startup ecosystem, maybe remote working offices, co-working spaces and all, filing of patents, since it is gone completely online, and company formation to everything, public service delivery is already online. So I think once the internet and working spaces reaches every district, in a way you will have a equal infrastructure available in every district of India for any innovation. Now, along with that, if you are able to bring taxation reforms for the startups to stay here, because what is happening, I think we have seen certain cases where once a startup becomes unicorn, then they try to attempt to list them outside in Singapore or the US. I think little bit of reforms in those sectors and you'll see that India will be the home to the best startup ecosystem in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. India is the innovation leader in the lower middle income group, and it continues to lead the world in information communication and technology services exports and holds top rankings in other indicators, including venture capital, research value, finance for startups and scale-ups, graduates in science and engineering, labor productivity, growth, and domestic industry diversification. So I think with all these, we see, wherever you go, whether it's any developed countries like United States, United Kingdom, the digital infrastructure backbone is all run by Indian science graduates or Indian engineers. So there's no reason that India would not be able to do it better than those countries in the coming time. Mr. Jain, and let's hope that this journey of improvement on the Global Innovation Index continues and we soon come to the top 10.
Thank you. Namaste and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much.
You were listening to a discussion on India's huge jump in Global Innovation Index and rise as Innovation Hub. The participants were Jiten Kumar Jain, cyber expert, and Sanjay, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.